Okay, let's jump right in. Right now, urban planning is at this massive technological turning point. And you know what? We've actually been here before. To really understand where we're going, we've got to look back at a time when a similar revolution was met with, well, a whole lot of doubt.
Can you even imagine hearing this today? Back in the 1980s, this was the common thinking among urban planners when you asked them about computers. And the irony is just incredible, because at that very moment, many of these same professionals were hunched over their screens, painstakingly creating city maps using ASCII code. I mean, literally plotting out streets and buildings, character by character. They were already using computers, just in the most grueling, manual way possible. And they still couldn't see the tidal wave of change that was about to hit.
And that right there, that is the perfect parallel for where we are today. What the computer was to planners in the 80s, artificial intelligence is to us right now. We're standing at the exact same kind of crossroads. And the real danger is making that same mistake of underestimating what's coming.
So this brings us to the first big idea. There's a pattern here we need to break. Because this time around, the stakes are so much higher. Our cities are facing these huge challenges, from explosive population growth to the impacts of climate change. And we simply can't afford to be left behind by this next wave of technology.
The heart of the issue has always been what we can call the traditional planning bottleneck. I mean, think about how it's always been done. It starts with incredibly slow manual data collection. The census reports we rely on, they're often years out of date the moment they're published. Field surveys are just a single snapshot in time. They completely miss the living, breathing pulse of a city. And then, when you try to get public input, you run into language barriers and the simple fact that you can't possibly reach everyone. These aren't just small hurdles. They're universal problems holding planners back everywhere.
So how do we finally break through that bottleneck? Well, that leads us right into our next section, the Planner's AI Toolkit. Let's dig into the game-changing technologies that are already here and ready to solve these very problems.
Okay, so what are we really talking about here? What's actually in this new AI toolkit?
Whoa, okay, at first glance, this looks pretty complex, right? This is the entire AI technology landscape for urban planning. But don't worry, we are not going to dissect every single piece. We can actually group all of these powerful tools into three main categories that make it much easier to understand.
First up, we have tools for perception. This is all about seeing the city as it truly is, in real time. It's about finally moving on from those outdated reports and static maps and getting a live feed of what's happening right now.
And a key piece of this puzzle is the Internet of Things, or IoT. I want you to picture it like a city's central nervous system. You've got sensors on everything, traffic lights, air quality monitors, public transit, and they're all streaming live data 24/7. This gives planners a constant, real-time pulse on the city's health.
Okay, so once you can see the city with perfect clarity, what's next? Well, the second group of tools is all about creation and simulation. These are the tools that let planners not just react to the present, but proactively design and test better futures for all of us.
And the absolute star of the show here is the digital twin. This is basically a super detailed virtual copy of an entire city. Think of it like a massive urban sandbox, or SimCity for the real world. Planners can test out huge ideas, like adding a new subway line or changing traffic patterns, all inside this virtual world to see what happens without ever laying a single brick. It's a totally risk-free playground for innovation.
And that brings us to our final and maybe the most important group of tools. These are the ones focused on people. These are technologies designed to make urban planning more democratic, more inclusive, and truly responsive to what citizens actually need and want.
A perfect example of this is natural language processing, or NLP. This is AI that can actually read and understand human language, so it can instantly scan thousands of public comments from an online forum and pull out the most important themes. Or it could provide real-time translation during a town hall meeting. It just shatters those old communication barriers and helps make sure every single voice gets a chance to be heard.
Now, this all sounds pretty amazing in theory, but is anyone actually doing this stuff? Oh, absolutely. So let's take a look at some AI-powered cities in action. We can learn so much from the global pioneers who are already putting this toolkit to work with some incredible results. First up, let's head to Singapore. They have truly become a masterclass in using AI to create what you could call a hyper-efficient city.
And the numbers, they're just staggering. Get this, Singapore is now using AI to manage 80% of its traffic intersections. The result?
They've cut rush hour delays by a full 20%, and at the same time, they're reducing annual carbon emissions by 500,000 tons. That's a huge, concrete win for people and for the planet.
All right, next, let's fly over to Barcelona. They've taken a different but just as powerful approach. Their focus is on digital democracy. Using platforms like Decidium, they've given thousands of citizens the power to directly vote on projects and co-create city policies. They're blending citizen power with the analytical power of AI.
And over in India, cities like Bangalore are showing us the power of targeted, focused solutions. Their adaptive traffic control system uses live camera feeds to adjust traffic signals on the fly, creating these green waves that just melt away congestion. It proves you don't need a total city overhaul to get immediate, practical benefits from AI.
So what does all this really mean for the future? Well, it brings us to a really crucial idea, a new human-AI partnership. And let's be super clear about this. This is not about robots taking over City Hall. It is all about augmenting planners, not replacing them.
The partnership is pretty simple, actually. You let the AI handle the mind-boggling complexity, analyzing traffic flows, simulating climate impacts, sifting through mountains of feedback. It does the heavy lifting, and that frees up human planners to focus on what we humans do best: creativity, making tough ethical judgments, and most importantly, building real relationships within the community.
So how do we actually get there? Well, here's a clear 5-step call to action for any city or planning organization. It starts with assessment. Just look at what you're doing now and see where AI could help. Then, education. You got to invest in training your staff. From there, you experiment, start with small pilot projects to build momentum. Then, you collaborate with tech experts and universities. And, this is critical, from day one, you build your ethical frameworks right alongside the community. And that really leaves us with this one final, powerful question. The transformation is coming. The question isn't whether AI will reshape urban planning, it's already happening. The real question is whether planners and all of us as citizens will be the ones to actively shape how AI transforms our cities for the better. The choice is ours.